And just like we said on the previous podcast, the annual finals trip is secured. This time, for this episode, we know who the opponent is. The Buffalo Bandits are going to be hosting for Game 1 and going to Saskatchewan in Game 2. It's a rematch of 2016. Shades of Stainhouse, shades of young Dane Smith, shades of pre-Josh Byrne, Ryan Benesh, Mitch Jones. That was a little bit of the team the last time these two met in the finals. Long time ago, 9 years ago. Guess what? We got the rematch of the century coming up between these two teams. Bandits and Saskatchewan, the 1 seed versus the 2 seed. Look at the title, Shades of 2016, with a chance to three-peat on the line. Welcome back to Banditland Boulevard. I'm Trevor Hauer. That's Tony LaMonica. Tony, how are you feeling going into this series as we preview the entire series between these two teams? There's a lot on the line. There's a three-peat on the line, a lot of legacies to really cement here in Banditland on the line. How are you feeling going in?
I got to feel as comfortable as the team is feeling after, I think, going through probably one of the toughest series against Vancouver, even though we swept them. But I wasn't too sure if we were going to make it past the series. I thought it was going to go to legitimately Game 3, but thankfully it didn't. They made their statement felt. Their defense stayed strong, and they backed up Matt Vince throughout the entire series. And I feel like that's going to be the same thing going into this championship final. You're going to play Bandits lacrosse. You're not going to play Rush lacrosse. You're going to go out there and you're going to perform under Johnny T's tutelage, and we are going to feel comfortable about bringing home a third straight championship. That's how I feel.
And honestly, the attitude for me going into it, I mean, I was nervous about the San Diego Seals. I was deathly afraid of the Vancouver Warriors being the hottest team.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, you've been there. You conquered San Diego. You conquered Vancouver twice, swept them.
Yep.
Why should we be afraid of the Saskatchewan Rush team? I mean, we've been through this once, you know, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me again. That attitude is not going to be going into this series. You're not going to fool me thrice. I will tell you that. This is a team that the Bandits can handle. This is a team that they've proven that they can handle in the regular season. Hold down a pretty loaded offense, if I were to say so myself, in the Saskatchewan Rush. Earlier on in the season, holding them to 7 goals. And this is when the Bandits were in a skid. If you remember, when they were playing the Saskatchewan Rush, they were not playing at 100%. They were still in that funk, what are we not sort of stage in their game. And you went into their house, a very, very loud building, tough building to win in. If you're a Halifax Thunderbirds player, you know all about that. The attitude is going to be simple, Tony. There's a lot on the line, but the Bandits, I mean, let's just be honest. They're way more experienced in, I mean, at least this core. They're way more experienced in the finals. They know what it's like. This Rush team, it's been a while since they've been to the finals. I think 2018 is what TSN said. The last time the Saskatchewan Rush won the championship, the last time they made the finals was 7 years ago. So they've been pretty removed from this big level, from this big stage for quite a while now. The Bandits, it's just like homecoming for them. And they punched their annual ticket to the back to the finals. This is not unfamiliar territory, and I think this is where experience wins in the series. The Bandits simply just have more experience in the series.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, especially with the way that how after 15 long years finally going back to the finals and actually winning it, the Saskatchewan Rush is thinking the same thing. It's been, like you said, 7 years that they've been waiting to get back into the finals again, and now they're back. But does their attitude and their experience beat the Buffalo Bandits' experience after going 2 straight? I don't know. It could all determine how healthy every player is, what kind of game style they're going to bring. But after showing the regular season that, hey, the Bandits squeaked by after their little trend of losing, but still coming out victorious, 9-7, to keep the high-powered Rush offense doing what they do best, you know, to get them there so far, just only 7 goals. Will history repeat itself? We will not know until we see Game 1. But until then, I have great faith in our boys that they're going to bring home a third straight because how comfortable they feel. I don't want to say too comfortable, but comfortable, like you stated, is the fact that they've been there. They've won it. They know how it feels like. They know what the anticipation is. They know what to expect. Rush now is going in cold turkey, and they got to figure out something what to do. But other than that, I think the Bandits feel actually in their comfort zone where they can go, I think it's 3 times right now.
The Bandits have been, I mean, this is their 5th consecutive time going back to the finals. I know you already previously mentioned it. The Bandits know what it's like to win. They also know the heartbreak and what it feels like to lose. And they also know what it feels like to lose against this team. Maybe not this core per se, but this franchise and this fan base knows what it feels like to lose against this team. So, that's not unfamiliar territory either. They're going to use that to their advantage. Saskatchewan is no slouch, though. You can't really sleep on those guys. I know that they have a pretty loaded team. I know that Halifax was really giving them some trouble. They're late in the late stages of the game, back and forth. They just keep tying the game. We go to overtime. They take a dumb penalty there in OT to put the series on ice.
Yep.
You know what? The Bandits, I'm just going to flat out say it, Tony. They made it look easy against the Vancouver Warriors. I mean, they beat them, and it was close in game 2, but they made it look easy. Saskatchewan made it look, it wasn't all there against Halifax. If they weren't given a power play in overtime, do they win that game? Does Halifax take the ball right back down the field and score to force a game 3?
Right.
I'll be honest with you, Tony. Watching game 2, I was convinced after game 1 that Saskatchewan was the better team. But after game 2, I'm like, this Saskatchewan team looks very, very beatable. I'm not sure if you saw the same thing, but that was my attitude coming out of that game.
Yeah, game 2, Halifax looked like they had the handlebars in that series after showing their grit, their team efforts, and Thomas Hogarth having an incredible game, 4-goal game, and showing, leading the pack the way that they should be. And I thought it was okay. They're up so many goals, but again, we've always based on games of runs, and Rush said, "You're not beating us that easy," and they came back and they fought back to go into overtime and win it, and rightfully deserving too. I mean, Halifax had a very comfortable lead, and you give up that much by just saying, "Oh, we're going to sit back and relax because there's no chance of you catching up." You don't give a team, I don't care how bad their record is, you don't give any team a chance to come back like that. And the fact that they did serves you right to lose that series and that game itself because of how poorly you planned that out. You guys could have easily taken that to game 3. The Rush, on the other hand, now think, God forbid, if we go up this much, if we are down this much, let me correct my statement, down this much against Buffalo, you think they're going to do the exact same thing? Hell to the fucking no. I'm sorry for cursing, but damn, no way. Not. No way they're going to allow Rush to come back like that. I'm guaranteeing you Johnny was on watching game 2 like that and going, we are not going to go up so much and give up so much quickly. That's not the style of Buffalo Bandits lacrosse.
No, and I mean, just you look at all the circumstances. Look at the back and forth nature that Halifax and Saskatchewan, that those games had. Look at how much energy that the Rush really brought into that game. The Bandits had the extra week of rest. I mean, I'm feeling good about this series. I'm feeling good about game 1. Now, keep in mind, game 1 is this Friday. 7:30. And then game 2 is Sunday in Saskatchewan. So quick turnaround, just like the Vancouver series, 8 o'clock, quick turnaround. And then if needed, this is where it gets weird. The following Sunday at 4:30 p.m. in Banditland. So, hey, you know what? This whole schedule reminds me a lot of 2022. Remember, they had that quick turnaround because it was Memorial Day weekend.
They play Saturday.
And I guess Saturday at 4:30.
4:30 at Saturday on the 24th. Sorry.
2022, we had that game 3 where it was in the afternoon. Like, it gives me a lot of those memories. But here's the deal. The Bandits know what they have to do. And Tony, I know that we talked a little bit about this off air, but I mean, we already saw them win it at home in 1993. We saw them win it at home. 1996, they won it at home. 2008, they won it at home. 23 and 24, they won it all at home. Sweet. Cool. You know what that means? Being the 1 seed, go ahead and win this one on the road.
I'd like that.
Go ahead and dominate this team on the road. The less games in Banditland, the better for the Bandits. I mean, and that's just calling it down the line. Ideally, you want Friday to be a win and to be the last game in Banditland for the season. That is what you want. You want Friday night needs to be the last game in Banditland, and then Sunday, get the job done on the quick turnaround. We know that this team could go undefeated in the playoffs. What are the odds of that happening? I never know with this club, but we mentioned it before. The last playoff game that they lost was Game 2 in 2023 against the Colorado
Mammoth.
And ever since then, they've been perfect in the finals, the semis, the quarterfinals. They haven't lost. Are they due for a loss? Probably. I don't know how long they're going to keep this Linsanity run on for, but they're the higher seed. They get home field in 1 and 3. They have the extra week of rest. I like our odds, Tony. I really, really do.
Do you think maybe possibly Kyle Matisse makes his return?
You hope so. You hope that extra week of rest, those guys can heal up. I know Chris Kluche was dealing with, towards the back end of the season, those nagging injuries, and Tehoka Nanakuk was dealing with some injuries. Kyle Matisse especially as well, who's missed every single playoff game thus far with injuries. I know Ron John was limping off the field a couple weeks ago.
He'll be good to go.
Up. He should be ready to go. But that was beneficial for the Bandits. The Rush, they don't get a rest week. They literally played the week that the Bandits played, and they also played this past weekend. They're also playing this upcoming weekend twice. Yep. So the rest week really helps out the Bandits. You're going to get some of those injured guys healthy, get them right, get them ready to go. And for maybe some of the forwards that didn't miss any playing time, if they were dealing with any other nagging injuries, they're all rested up. They're ready to go. They're ready to roll. But like I said before in the beginning, this is familiar waters for the Bandits. I
couldn't agree more.
Here, this core knows what it's like to win here. I mean, they went through the hottest team in the league in Vancouver just a week ago. They beat them twice in the same weekend. It was close. It was low scoring, but they took down San Diego, who came into the playoffs hot.
Yep.
The Bandits seem like the hottest team in the league right now, and
best defensive team in the league.
I know that the Rush are the 2 seed for a reason, but I mean, here's the reason. Here's the reason. The Rush are a great team. That's the reason why they finished in second. The Bandits are number 1 because they've proven that they can hang with the top dogs. And who is the step below? Who's the top dog right below the Bandits? That's the Saskatchewan Rush. You're not seeing any of these trap games where you're going up against a 500 team in the finals like you were a couple years ago with the Mammoth, where anything could happen, go back and forth, whatever. That's where the Bandits struggle. It's the top teams that the Bandits usually dominate. And I already previously mentioned it, and I can't get enough of saying that, but the Rush, when they met in the regular season, the Bandits were not at 100%. They were in the middle of a decline. They were kind of in a rut at that point. And what do? They're still undeniable. They still come across with the victory. Why should that be any different going into the grandest stage of the NLL Finals?
Yeah, and both goaltenders, too, still proven that it's going to take a lot to beat both Matt Vince and Frank Scigliano. Again, it's going to be where they're going to have to find their weaknesses in that. But for the Buffalo Bandits' sake, just keep doing what you're doing. And you find ways to win. You change it up when you have to, but you keep this, you keep the course when it's needed. So make Frank still guess, make him assume the shot that you want, but keep peppering him. He will get tired very quickly. He is, to me, and I'm not saying any disrespect, but reminds me of like Nick Rose. He stands up a ton. You go low on a big guy like him, it's going to be goal season for my eyes. And I think if Chase Fraser does what he does best, and he did that trick shot goal against Del Bianco, he's going to have a hat trick to a sock trick per game if he keeps that up. Other than that, I just feel like his weaknesses are just like his Nick Rose. So if you go low on Big Frankie, I don't see you guys losing to him. But keep him moving, keep him guessing. You guys should score without no problem.
Yeah, I think with that, Tony, I think we got to get right into our players to watch for Saskatchewan. I know that you just mentioned the goalie Frank Scigliano, but
still a good goaltender.
He's still a great goaltender.
Yes, he is.
I like the comparison to Nick Rose. He's a big, tall body.
Yep.
Doesn't really get down and do the dirty work as much as like a Matt Vince would, or a Christian Del Bianco would, or a Brett Dobson would. He lets a lot of the shots go in the low side. I do like that as the first key player to watch. I want to start off on the offensive side for Saskatchewan. We got to go into a guy who is a bandit killer. and he didn't play the last time the Buffalo Bandits. I think he was on the paternity list or something, but he will be activated and ready to go for game 1 of the NLL Finals. And the last time these guys met at the KeyBank Center, this guy had 6 goals. This guy had a shot for number 17, Robert Church. He's one of those old classic Bandit killers. And chances are you're not going to shut him down completely. It's about limiting him. That is the theme of this show. It seems like whenever we're talking about a key player to watch for the opposite team, limit. If you limit him, you should be able to win the game. But the Rush have so many offensive weapons. Robert Church is just the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, he has been really showing off his offensive skills, especially with these last few series against Georgia and Halifax. When he's like Wesley Berg. When he finds a lane and he finds a spot, he will pick it every single time. You give him that opportunity every time. So Robert Church is one of those guys you have to be like his shadow. And you, like you said, have to limit him to like a goal or two. I mean, he's not going to be shut down unless you find a way to. But other than that, if you limit him to that, I don't see a problem with that. But I think Church is going to be like one of those guys who is going to sneak a goal here and there. But other than that, our defense is pretty legit. I think we could have stopped them. But another player to watch, I feel, is also a former Halifax Thunderbird, Austin Shanks. And he's been red hot lately. And now if you put both Church and him combined, that could be a dangerous 1-2 punch for the Rush. And you have to make sure to watch both Church and Shanks, because Shanks could also find the high slot behind the net, you name it. And he will make you guess every time he takes that shot. So the more you're on him and you don't give him that opportunity, Shanks will also be limited to a goal or two. And that is a win for the defense, I think.
No, absolutely. I mean, he has really lit a fire in the playoff series. And God, yeah. When you combine him with Robert Church as your 1-2 punch, that's going to be difficult to stop. I don't care who the defense is, but yeah, I do like what you said. I think the Bandits defense is pretty legit. They've proven over the course of the last 3 playoff games that they are. Yep. They're coming off a full week of rest. Should be feeling good going into this week. I want to go into a transition right now. Mike Messenger. This guy is an absolute building, 6'2", 225. This guy takes a lot of shots, lays a lot of big hits, and plays a lot out of the back door. He's kind of a taller version of Ian McKay. Obviously doesn't score as many goals as Ian McKay, but he's one of those guys that you don't want to mess with on the transition side of things. Big guy, big intimidation factor with a guy like Mike Messenger, and he can really get under your skin if given the opportunity, and that's a guy that you don't want to mess with on the opposite side.
A guy who rushes for the ball every time it's loose, no matter if it's in the corner, no matter if it's high slot, no matter if it's outside to the key. He finds a way to pick up the loose balls. He's probably one of the best in the game still to this day, who is great at picking off loose balls. Now, if Kyle Buchanan and the offense can get to that before him, that could be dangerous for Messenger to go, wait a second, I got one guy, 2 guys to watch, and that's not just Buchanan, but Clay Scanlon. Matches, quick speed to the loose balls, but Messenger finds a way to do so. If he limits the speed, gets to the loose ball, figuratively speaking, trying to figure out where it would bounce, he will win 65 to 70% of the time to get to it first before we do.
Yeah, and that is one of the Achilles heels. One of the very few weaknesses of the Bandits is jumping on loose balls. I thought they got a lot better with it in the semifinals. Oh, yeah. I mean, they were getting dominated in the quarterfinals by San Diego. That was disgusting to see in the loose ball department, but they really started to gradually improve in the second round. So hopefully it's bigger and better things for the Bandits, and hopefully we get to see even more of a better outing at that rate going into the finals. I do like that. Holden Garland, definitely one of the big defensive guys to look out for. He's a guy that can really get under your skin. But one of the big guys that I want to look out for, pretty much a staple name, is Matt Hossack. Big 5'11", 170 pounds. He makes some noise up and down the floor too. He's definitely not a guy that you want to mess with going into this series. I do think though, during the regular season, and we know the regular season and the playoffs are 2 different animals, but I thought the Bandits weren't really giving in to what Hossack was saying. He's trying to bait them into taking a lot of penalties. The Bandits were very, very disciplined in that game. I also know in that game that they did kill off a 5-on-3 2-man advantage, shorthanded wise. So the Bandits special teams, we will get into that in our keys to a series victory. But Special teams last time they played, for what that's worth, special teams was looking good, at least on the penalty kill side of things. But he's one of those guys that's going to try to bait you, take the dumb penalty. We know how lethal the Rush power play is. You can't be taking those stupid penalties. But other than that, very, very fast on his feet too. Hasek is a pretty quick guy and kind of under the radar guy to watch.
Yeah, Matt Hasek is like our Justin Martin. Very small, but very fast and tough. You want to compare both those guys together? Those are the two guys you want to really rely on. God forbid, if there's a high slot area, they get in there instantly. And Hasek is one of those guys on the Rush team who find a way. If God forbid it was Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, Chris Klucha, I could name the whole list. If they get to that high slot, boom, Hasek is right there. In their face, making sure that the goaltender is protected and to block that shot or even lay down the body, even for a small dude. Him and Martin are like identical. It is so hard to figure out what to do when those two, either one, have to face each other. So, again, for Hasek's sake, he's going to have to keep up that mentality for playing, like you said. He plays a mind game, but he also plays smart with it. So you got to make sure not to falter to his ego and also falter to the trap that he will always send out there every time he's on the floor.
I like it. Any other key players to watch for you going into this series?
There is one more, and I'm going to say this is a former known name. I think he played for Toronto Rock at times, but I think Zach Mans is one of those go-to guys that you have to watch, where he is, ever since going from Toronto to SAS, he has become a different player in a lot of people's eyes, and especially mine. The way how he can find a way to score goals, but also play smartly, like not give up those goofy passes, and also he's very crisp with putting it right on the stick for his teammates. But other than that, Zach Mans has been another key player for them to rely on the scoring. So it's like their kind of secondary scoring in a way. It's not just Church and Shanks. Mans is right there like their secondary, kind of like how our boys are. We're going to get to that in a second. But Mans is one of their secondary guys who can light the lamp, and that could be a factor for the SAS to come into Buffalo and prevent us from winning game 1 or game 2. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, honorable mention. I don't know how I forgot about this guy, but Mike Triolo, big bad Mike Triolo, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
On the forward side. That dude's a freaking building, too. This is where the fun part comes in. Players to watch in the series for the Buffalo Bandits. I mean, they know what's on the line. We said Threepeat is on the line. This is a rematch of 2016. The Bandits love to avenge the past defeats that they've suffered, especially in the finals. They already got that against the Mammoth. That's step one. I think once the Roughnecks make it back to the finals and once the Bandits meet those guys, I think that they're going to have a better outing there as well. But take it step by step. This time you got the Saskatchewan Rush. You already lost to them in 2016. You want to avenge that defeat. Some of the key players to watch for the Bandits. I'd love to see Chase Fraser keeping the momentum going. I know that we just had the week off. Maybe some of that fire, maybe some of that momentum kind of burned off maybe a little bit during that rest period, but you look at goal of the year. I mean, it was on the Pat McAfee show, for crying out loud. They're getting way more mainstream with that. It was such a nice goal. And goals like that, you don't just forget about them. That momentum really carries over into the following week, and especially when you're in the playoffs. Chase Fraser, I mean, I know that Saskatchewan's going to be covering him a lot. I know that they saw a lot of the film on that goal, but Chase Fraser scored a goal against one of the best goalies in the game, Christian Del Bianco, who before the playoffs was undefeated, and he made him look stupid on that goal. That momentum will carry into game 1 at least of the finals, and Chase Fraser is probably my number one guy to watch going into this series. See if he can keep it up. I mean, I think with the amount of shots that this guy's taken, he's really starting to heat up. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a 2, 3, 4 goal per night kind of guy in this series.
Well, I'd have to say contract per year guy has shown that he deserves more than 1 year per signing.
Yes.
This man has fought, bled, sweat for this team, for the goals that he produces, the animosity he puts onto the floor, and the fact that he is just one of those guys you love to have him on your team and you hate to be against. So having Chase on your team is a blessing, let me tell you, because number 95 has really shown his grit, his glamour, and the way he can score goals in the right moments and in the right timing. Championship form. That's what you want this guy to do every single time it comes down to this. And we can talk about past championships that we've had and our losses too, because why? He's averaged get this, he's averaged 2.75 goals for every championship game. Yep. You have to feed that to him. That's a big key to know that he's guaranteed 2 to 3 goals easy per game. Now, say like if your all-stars like Dane Smith and Josh Byrne get hot and they get hat tricks, that's 9 right there itself, and then your secondary does the rest. That should win you games. Chase Fraser is a big piece to the puzzle for the Buffalo Bandits to win this championship series, and that is a great pull.
Yes, I mean, just even they don't even have to be great goals. I mean, you just remember. No. I always go back to Game 3 in 2023 against the Mammoth. Just point blank shots, just finding the back of the net. None of those shots are really like behind the back, but just overhand straight shots that just get on goal. They go past the goaltender. I mean, we all remember the goal from last year, Game 2, the hidden ball trick. Who can forget? I mean, I know it was a lot of Josh Byrne taking an ass beating in that play, but it was a Chase Fraser goal. He shows up in the finals. Death taxes Chase Fraser scoring goals in the finals. That is always big. And I just thought that was a great poll to use because, I mean, look at the numbers. You just gave the exact stat of his numbers in the finals. He's almost being rounded up. He's averaging a hat trick per game in the finals.
That's huge.
That's not something to overlook ever. If you get a player that consistently scores hat tricks in the playoffs, more so the finals, that's a dangerous player.
For my key guy to watch, and I think everyone's been eyeballing this guy ever since he's been red hot with his stick, and that is number 4, Ian McKay. Transition, you may call him forward, call him defenseman. He's an all-around go-to player to get to. He has been accurate. He's been quick. He gets to the loose ball. He makes you keep guessing. Those shots of his finds a way to the back of the net, and I guarantee you the way he does he plays his own game, relying on Dane Smith, relying on Josh Byrne and the guys that are out there with him, but whoever's on the floor with him, they have a way to give for the ball, and he finds a way to score that much-needed goal, and he finds a way to get another hat trick. Yep. So right there and then, I just named 4 guys that at least gets 12 goals on the board. And if your other secondary could put 3 or 4 on to add it,
that's 15.
Victory
16.
well known. Victory well known. You can't ask for that. Ian McKay, my guy.
Ian McKay, totally. Stay hot. Ian McKay, definitely one of the key players to watch. Is it overdue? Can we say? I mean, he was on a 8-game goal streak, but Kyle Buchanan.
Yes.
Can we mention Kyle Buchanan as one of the key?
I think it's time.
He's been the key player to watch this entire regular season. He's had a couple games in the playoffs where he doesn't really light up the lamp as much as he usually does, but he had that extra week off. He's rested up. He's ready to go. He'll find his goal-scoring ways again. Don't sleep on 91.
No, Kyle Buchanan has been really, like I said, with the Seals game, scoring with that 10th of a second left in the first half. That's just a wake-up call for him. He's trying to get to those open net chances, like he missed a few. But other than that, he will find the goals. He will get his goal streak back. But again, maybe this is a way to stay under the radar and not give the opponents to say, 91's nothing. All he does is get loose balls and he passes a lot. Big deal. But when they don't realize it, that he's got the ball and he's in front of the net all alone, he'll find a way to score. I don't care how big or how small your goaltender is. Kyle Buchanan finds a way to score goals. No matter how tricky he is, he finds a way to help add to the score of the Buffalo Bandits. And that's a good one. I like Kyle Buchanan on that one.
Yes. No, and definitely. And I know some people are watching this saying, why aren't you mentioning him? Okay.
I think I mentioned him a lot. I know that for a fact.
Josh Byrne, Dane Smith.
Yes.
You gotta be Josh Byrne and you gotta be Dane Smith. If you
are
not each other and you're not at full form, it's gonna be tough to at least to get convincing wins. I've known that we've seen nights where Dane and Josh have had off nights and they still pull off the victory because the secondary scoring is just so damn good. But
our team is great.
For extra insurance, if you're Dane and you're Josh and you play like Dane and Josh,
oh yeah,
that's just adding more fuel into the fire, baby. That's it. When you get Dane streaking down the field, getting 20 assists, it feels like, and when you got Josh getting like 7 goals and 6 assists for 13-point nights, and
I'll take it
like that, it's going to make things really, really tough for that defense to maintain confidence. It's also going to tire out the other team's offense to keep going back and trying to rally back. When you are talking about a short weekend, and we're talking about a quick turnaround, just like shades of last week when you had a Friday night game and a Sunday night game. It's the exact same circumstance. The game one is ultra important. Game one, you have to take. You have to take game one. And by taking game one, you got to have Dane Smith be Dane Smith. You got to have Josh Byrne be Josh Byrne. You got to have the secondary guys be lights out. You got to take that game one victory going into Sunday. You need that game one win. You got to send Saskatchewan. You got to have their backs against the wall on a short rest, have them questioning everything. Are we good enough? Blah, blah, blah. While you're just riding high going into that building. And where does that start? That starts with the heartbeat of your offense. You have two of them, 92-22, Dane Smith and Josh Byrne.
Yeah, your 1-2 stars have got to be the leaders of the pack for sure, and you got to show them the way. But don't be afraid to chime in and get a couple goals yourself. I would love to see Josh Byrne get 3. I would love to see Dane Smith get 3. Maybe Chris Kluche pops up and gets 3, or like I mentioned before with Ian McKay and Kyle Buchanan, and you said Chase Fraser. The fact if we just find a rhythm that doesn't stop ticking, the bomb is going to blow up in Rush's face. And you know what? That's cool. That's what we want. We want to make a statement every single game we go forward from here. And the reasons why that the Buffalo Bandits want to make a statement, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And you have to, this is it. This is the last dance in the National Lacrosse League. We're at the finals. This is your opportunity to prove us wrong. But you're going to have to either beat us down or kill us, because that's the only way you're going to win this series.
No, I think the last one you said. The only way to beat us is by literally killing us, paralyzing us.
That's it. Yeah.
Because the Bandits, I mean, it may not have looked like it in the second game against Vancouver, but they were totally outworking them in both games. And on a short rest. They had the travel day off, and then they were right back at it on Sunday night. And if that doesn't scare Saskatchewan to their core, I don't think they know what they're in for, to be honest. And real quick, before we get into our key players to watch, we have to get into Stay Hot, Matt, Vino, Vince. Every single game in the playoffs holds them to under double-digit goals. Every single game. Throw on top of that an extra week of rest. Chef's kiss. This is the way. This is the way that this should be built up. This was the only way. You had to win all 3 games and then get it. I don't know if they're going to be exhausted per se, but they had to play Saturday. Now they got to play Friday. They got to travel to Buffalo to a tough environment to play on Friday. They don't get a full week of rest like the Bandits.
No, they don't.
The Bandits get almost 2 full weeks. I think they get 12 days of rest before the Friday night game.
That's good. They definitely need that.
Matt Vince is staying hot. The defense is locked down. The defense is lights out. The secondary scoring is out of this world. You guys just keep being you. And Matt Vince, I mean, I know I mentioned Dane Smith and Josh Byrne being the heartbeat, but, dude, Matt Vince is up there too.
You want to talk about a brick wall? This guy, at his age, still proving why he is the GOAT of National Lacrosse League. He has been proven it time and time again. He's had his doubters tell him it's time to hang up the gloves when he's playing in his prime, as we are witnessing here this year and from the past 2 years that we've seen him go lights out in the National Lacrosse League playoffs, is that he is not done. He is far from done. He could play until he's 50. Or it could be like Deadpool, till you're 90. You know what I mean? It's just be like, I mean, I don't know. But if this guy goes at least to the age of 50, I would be in shock. But if he does, God bless him, because he has proven time and time again, he is just legitimately that good in net. You can't stop this man. It's unreal, unheard of.
Yeah, he'll probably have more than double-digit rings on his finger, too. Like, he'll probably have 10 championship rings on his finger.
He's the Tom Brady of Buffalo, but he's with the Buffalo Bandits. He's like this.
and except he'll have more rings at the end of the day, probably.
Yes.
If he plays until he's 50, that is.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely one player to watch. And you have to mention him. I mean, 4 goals in the first game, 3 goals in the second game. Get the hell out of it. Like, that is video game numbers from a guy like
pretty
that.
much on easy mode.
unfreaking real. Yeah, freaking rookie mode on them right now. Let's go to keys to victory for the series.
Yes.
Ideally, you want to win it in 2, but we'll take it however they can get it.
Yep.
My first key, I already kind of teased this before, but game 1 has to be a win. Game 1 needs to be a win. You have to win game 1. If you don't, you are in rough water going on the road on Sunday, face against the Rush. Game 1 is a priority. Game 1 has to be a victory. The only team to lose a series after winning game 1 in the history of these best 2 out of 3 series, and these
would be us.
It would be the Bandits in 2022 against the Mammoth. Play by the odds. Game 1 is a must-win. Every one of these should have that must-win attitude to them. But if you want to get off the deck, so to speak, of being 0-0 tie going into the series, you want to kickstart your shot to a three-peat, game 1 absolutely needs to be a win. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care how close it is. I don't care if it's a blowout. I don't care if you win 1-0.
That's right.
Just have the higher number. Game 1 needs to be a win. Get yourself some insurance going into game 2.
I like what you said about game 1 too, is the fact that it basically comes down to this comment too, and that is to play a full 60 minutes of lacrosse. You don't want to play your 45s. You don't want to play your 30 minutes. It's a full 60 from here on in. You play until that final buzzer goes, and that's the way how the Bandits are going to have to win this game too, is to consistently win each quarter. Make sure you're outscoring your opponent. I don't care if it's 7-6 every quarter. As long as you get one more than them, I'm very happy with it. Who cares? Yep. You got the victory. That's all that matters. Game 1, yes, I agree, is going to be a must-win for the Bandits because you'll set the tone and you'll make sure about the fact that when you go to game 2, you don't want to feel like, okay, it's in the bag, but you want to make sure you make the final statement right there and then.
Yep.
So other than that, I like my idea is just play a full 60.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Full 60 definitely is up there too. If you play a full 60, there's no doubt in my mind. We've seen this team win big games playing just 45 minutes.
Right.
Can you imagine if this team played a full 60? It's over. It's over. Another thing, defense, whatever you were drinking out of the water during the first few games of the playoffs, keep drinking that.
Yep.
Whatever you were doing, whatever film you were watching, whatever preparation you were doing in practice, just keep it up. I mean, I don't have a lot to criticize with this team right now. You look at the numbers that they held their opponents to, 4, 3, 9. That's enough for the Bandits to win every single time. Every single time. Whatever the defense was doing, keep letting them hear it. Whether it's you getting in their ear, them hearing the footsteps, maybe Belter or Paul Dawson laying out some big body checks in front of the net, or setting up the big plays out of the diamond formation. I love seeing that. And when they're on their guy, they are lights out, they're locked down. Defense, stay consistent. You have through the first 3 games. Why not the next 3? Why not the next 5? Or why not the next 2 that you have left?
I was going to say 5. I don't hope they don't play best of 5.
Ideally, we want to see only 5 games. We only want to see 5 games. We don't want to see 6 games. We only want to see 5. If we want to be real, whatever you're doing through the first 3, continue on through the next 2 to the next 3 if you have to. Because let's be honest, I don't need to tell you what to do. The defense already knows what they're supposed to do. The defense knows. You held down, for God's sake, the hottest team out west this year. You swept them over a weekend. You guys know what's at stake. But it starts defensively for me. If you can support Matt Vince and he can hold a team to under 8 goals, the Bandits offense will pick you up. The Bandits transition will pick you up. There's enough firepower on this offense. There's enough firepower on this transition to really lay into them and lay into them on the scoreboard. So don't you worry about a thing. Just keep playing defense. The offense will have your back.
That's right. Just be the brick wall, get to those block shots, really protect Vince at all times. But stay hot like you've been. You've been incredible for the first 3. It is now time to get even more incredible in the last 2. That's how I want to statement. It's go time. It is championship mode. We're back for the 5th time straight and possibility to win a 3rd straight. So now it's all on you guys, but you'll know you have Banditland to support you, and we are going to be rowdy for you in game 1. Just let you know, you'll hear the echoes and sass when you're heading there for game 2.
Yes, and I want to mention possessions, Make every possession count. How do possessions get started, Tony? Dominating the face-off circle.
That would be Mr. Connor Farrell.
Connor Farrell struggled a bit, especially in game 2 against the Vancouver Warriors. Obviously didn't affect the outcome of the game, but if you want to secure yourself, maybe if you have a 2-goal lead with a minute 30 to go, ideally you want that face-off. When there's a minute 30 left and there's technically 3 possessions left on the clock before the time expires and you have a 1 to 2 goal lead, those are the face-offs that you have to win. So he's been winning a lot of face-offs for this team, but you got to win face-offs in crunch time. And what the Bandits usually do and what they do normally well, and this might be a moot point now that I'm saying this because they do a lot of stuff very, very well, but clutch up, sack up in the clutch, be really, really good. And if it's a 1-goal game and you need a possession, the Bandits usually do a good job at getting the ball back and at least getting back a possession. But making every possession count. And I think we can tag along winning face-offs to that category.
You want to have Connor Farrell face off against Jake Nassau. Connor Farrell needs to be the bigger bully in the face-off dot. He needs to push him down and collect that ball and to set the tone, as we may say, for the Buffalo Bandits offense to get kicked up. And then, you know what? If he has a chance, take one. Go for it. Get a goal get a second goal where it really counts. So let this crowd really hear you if you get this goal in the playoffs. But I think if Connor Farrell does what he can do, and we only ask of 40 to 50% of any face-off guy we actually think can do it, Farrell could probably have a 60% to a 70% if he really wanted to, if he tried harder. So if he wants to really prove why we signed him as our FOGO guy, this is the time to really win those face-offs. And be careful not to jump the whistle before going after the ball.
Yeah, we don't need any face-off violations.
No.
We don't need that. The Bandits are normally doing pretty well special teams-wise. I thought that their power play has really improved, especially in the playoffs, and the shorthanded, their penalty kill is as good as it can really be. So I don't really need to mention that, but I'm going to leave you with this. Just play your game. You guys know as much as we do. You guys know more than we do. You guys know what's at stake. Go ahead and win this game. Go ahead and win this series. Threepeat, and let's have a freaking parade in Buffalo.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what the Bandits have in store for the next one. So until then, they have to win one game at a time. Take your time, figure out their weaknesses, and exploit it, and do it quickly. Because if they find yours, championship's going somewhere else.
That's right. Well, this brings us into our series predictions.
Oh, boy.
Tony, I will start. Okay.
Because,
you look at the schedule, Friday, then Sunday, and then if we needed, the following Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
Right.
The Bandits normally do very, very well at winning game 1, especially in the finals. We've seen over the course of 22, 23, and 24. They've been 3 for 3 in their last 3 championship appearances, winning game 1. So I don't think that's going to change now. I will say the Bandits take game 1. And it'll be convincing. I think the Bandits win 14-9 in game 1.
Okay.
And then game 2, I think it's going to be a little bit closer, but you know me, Tony. I got the Bandits sweeping. If you take care of business against San Diego, you take care of business against Vancouver, we are going to win this championship on visitor soil. I got the Bandits winning game 2 and winning the series 11-8.
Wow, keeping both games under 10 for them, huh? Well, I'm not one to break the ice, and I really hate saying that. But I got a good feeling that the Bandits are going to win game 1 as well. They're going to make a statement, well said, because they got their fans in front of them. And we're going to win. I'm going to say Bandits 15, Rush 12 for game 1. I'm going to take that, have our little 3-goal comfort zone. But other than that, you had a 5, which is fine. For game 2, I hate to say this, God, I really do. It's going to be like Halifax. It's going to be Halifax game. You think Bandits are going to have it, and I got a feeling it's going to slip. We're going to have a game 3 in Buffalo. I think we're not going to win game 2.
You think
and
so?
We're going to lose. I think we're going to lose 10-11 in overtime.
You think that the playoff win streak is going to come to an end in game 2?
in game 2. I got a feeling it's something's tickling my mind about the Colorado series that the Rush find a way to like have our number at their house. It's so, like you mentioned, it's so difficult to beat them, but we did in the regular season, but that doesn't count now. This is what counts. No, this could be a completely different series. And I mean, I don't want to say that, but I'm going with my gut. Prove me wrong for game. Go ahead and prove me wrong, but I got game 3 just in case for the Bandits. We win it at home again, and we take it 13-10.
13-10 in game 3 to solidify the three-peat. So we both have a three-peat going. It's been a long time for the Rush. I know that they're chomping at the bit to get that championship back and try to dethrone the back-to-back champions, but they're going to have a lot to play for. You're going to see a different team than what you saw against Halifax. I think you're going to see a much more disciplined team, a much better shooting team, but I don't think that's going to stop the Bandits. I think the defense is just so overpowering. I think Matt Vince is overpowering. Dane Josh, Cloutier, Buchanan, I mean, Ian McKay, I think that's just going to be too much for him, bottom line. I think that's going to be too much for them to handle, and I have the Bandits winning too, so it's going to be big. It's going to be a big series, but here's the thing, and we mentioned this before. This is where the experience in the finals really benefits the Bandits. This core for the Rush, maybe a couple players went to the 2016 finals and won it there, and then won it in 2018 against Rochester. Maybe they do. Maybe some of them know what it feels like to be on the top of the mountain, but a good portion of that core, Tony, has no idea what it feels like to even get there. This is where I think experience in the finals benefits the Bandits. This is why I can't really see the Rush losing. I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, that's sports. Sometimes you get the upsets in the finals and stuff like that, but the Rush are the 2 seed for a reason. Still, I think the experience in the finals benefits the Bandits more than it does the Rush. And that's going to be the key factor why the Bandits are going to be raising up their 3rd straight title and why the Rush are going to be kicked right back down the mountain.
That's okay. I'll take it in 2 as well. Like I said, prove me wrong for game 2. That's the only time I'm going to have to ask you to prove me wrong is this game 2. If we win game 1, go in there and prove me wrong for game 2, and then we can raise the championship cup in Sass and bring it home to Buffalo for the parade.
Yes. Well, I do like that. I like that idea. I mean, parades are always fun. Parades.
Yes, they are.
But with that, Tony, I think it's time for our final preview episode of Banditland Boulevard for the 2025 season. Got to shout out the sponsors.
Banditland Boulevard would like to be thanking our main sponsor, and that is Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, you haven't checked it out yet, Banditland Boulevard, Trevor Hauer over there, and myself, Tony LaMonica, are saying go check it out. The food is great. The service is amazing. You will not be disappointed. They will treat you like family. We'd also like to thank Herney's Journeys. If you guys want to book your next trip or vacation, please contact Suzanne Pike at Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. We'd like to thank our newest sponsor, Beer Kind Brewing. We'd like to thank those at 2765 Kenmore Avenue in Tonawanda, New York, also as well, for allowing us to call out your brewery. So, guys, go check it out. It's beer kind to your mouth at Ken Tun's first brewery ever in Tonawanda.
Oh, yeah.
Also, thank those who are watching us on YouTube Live through StreamYard. Give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell every time you want to listen in on Buffalo Bandits Lacrosse. And also for those listening in on every device known to man, your tablet, your phone, your radio station on Spotify, give us that 5-star rating that we talk nothing but the best of the orange and black.
You guys know what's at stake. Threepeat on the line.
It's championship mode.
It's crazy. It's championship time.
Let's go.
Time to be the 7-time champs. That's all I got to say. Time to be the 7-time champs.
The elite champs of the National Lacrosse League.
The elite champs. Who else has the title? Is that
Rochester?
You got to get that.
Toronto.
You got to get that off your back too. Stop tying with the stupid Nighthawks.
It's time to be the greatest of all time in the National Lacrosse League.
Be the undisputed champs.
That's right.
Be like Chris Jericho in WWF. Be the undisputed champ. Go out there and win. But hey, for the final preview episode of the 2025 season that has already come and gone, always sign off with 3 words to end the show. And I mean, they're right there on the screen for the visual viewer of this episode. I know the audio viewer can't see it, but I bet you can infer what those 3 words are going to be. Tony, what are those 3 words?
Like Chris Swinney says, in 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits! Time to win a third. Let's go. Matt Vince,
Pete.
Hit it for the second time in your history to do it with 2 different teams. Threepeat with Rochester. Now it's Threepeat with Buffalo. Get it done. Let's go, boys.
Go out, do it. Just don't suck.
Just don't suck.